What's up, people? I am back for another video. We are finally about to review Hard Eyes. I remember seeing the trailer on my friend's stream. They played it, and I gotta say, it looked good, and it kind of captivated me. And you all know I love slashers, so I was like, why not go check this out? And I finally watched it this past Saturday, and it was really good. It's kind of what I wanted, honestly, from the new Scream trilogy, like the new Screamer, the newer Scream movies. That's what I wanted. It had the right amount of kills. It has a reasonable amount of meta, but not to the point where it doesn't feel like a movie anymore. It's just straight up meta. You have a good new killer in the Hard Eyes Killer. I've seen some people call him Heck. I've seen that nickname. And that opening scene where you see this couple get married and the guy's trying to get the picture, and then the killer kills the guy with the camera pretty brutally, and then he kills the guy, and then you get a pretty good chase scene. And I love how, like, the killer was like, he calls her to know where she is so he can, like, hear her. That was smart. The kills are pretty brutal. And then the film actually starts. We're introduced to Allie. She's a pitch designer for a jewelry company. Recently got in a, just got done with a breakup. I will agree. If I had one criticism, it's Allie when you first meet her. I'll admit she's not likable at all, and I'm kind of getting tired of the. Granted, I will admit she gets better later on, but I will say I am kind of getting tired of this trope with characters now. Like, that's the one thing. Like, I feel like the final girl should be nice. Like, if that's, and I understand that's a trope, but it makes sense. It goes with the trope. The final girl shouldn't be bitchy. I'll admit she gets better later on, but I'll be honest, that first, like, 30 to 40 minutes of the film when you first meet her, I'll be honest, she was not likable at all. And I don't know what it is with Hollywood sometimes, feeling like you have to always make characters obnoxious all the time and not likable. Granted, I will say you could tell she was using it as like a mask, because there's even a scene when the guy she eventually falls in love with, who you might recognize, I think his name was Chad in the newer Scream movies. he's actually I actually think he's a good actor. I just felt like those movies didn't really get to show him be an actor. I felt like in those movies he was just, I wouldn't say douchey, but he was like the Gen Z kid. At least in this movie, he actually feels like a character. You think he's this douchey, suave guy, but no, he's just a normal dude who just wants normal love. Um, they reconcile their differences, but then they get attacked by the Hard Eyes Killer, and then that's kind of the rest of the film, is the Hard Eyes Killer doing random kills. The one scene where they do get chased into I think it's like a drive-in, was pretty good. You also have these cop characters. One of them is Devin Sawa, and I don't remember the girl's name, but she's gonna come later, because I'll just spoil. She's one of the killers, and that's the other thing. This movie does the killer reveal really good, because one of my other problems with the newer Scream movies is the reveal scenes are so fucking bad. Obviously, in 5 we know that was supposed to be a commentary on like fans and stuff, but it's not even just that. I felt like once the killers got revealed in 5, and I would say in 6 too, they became goofy as fuck. Especially in 6. I'll say I like 6 more than 5, but the Ghostface in 6 was actually, when he's Ghostface, was like when he's in the mask and everything, he was actually pretty good. But it's like when you get to the reveal scene, they become retarded and goofy. And it's like, thankfully this movie didn't do that. Like, yeah, obviously they did the reveal kind of like the first couple Screams, where you could argue the killer makes somewhat of a mistake because they get caught up in their ego. I don't have a problem with that. It's when you just make the killer straight up retarded and goofy, even though when they're in the mask, they're this smart, suave, and like quick killer that's smart and has all these tricks. The moment he's revealed, oh no, we gotta have him be retarded. So at least the movie doesn't do that. And I love the lore built around the Hard Eyes Killer. I even love the scenes where after he does his first kill, you go through like a whole couple news people talking about the Hard Eye killings, which I thought that was kind of interesting, which adds to the lore of the movie. I actually think this movie has a good amount of good chase scenes too. Um, the only scene I think was a bit questionable is how Allie kind of turns into an action star towards the end, but whatever. But that's, you could almost say that with any slasher though, where this girl is like a normal girl, all of a sudden knows how to fight. That's one of those things you're just gonna have to deal with. And there's points where it gets too ridiculous. You're next. Maybe that'll be a review at some point. A lot of people love that movie. I like it. I just think I don't. I think they made the lead. I think they made her a bit almost too capable. You know, I think it was almost like to where it was like even by slasher standards, I feel like she's too capable. I almost feel like she would have been better served being like a straight up action hero than a final girl, if you get my drift. But everything else, though, I love the tone of this movie. It has a perfect feel. I'm loving these return to modern, like, you have these like modern slashers, but that still have like a very late 90s feel to them. Like, if I'm being honest, I can see this movie coming out in like the late 90s, early 2000s, in that like post Scream era. I could easily see this coming around the time of another movie that we're going to reveal tomorrow, Valentine, which came out around that time, like that post Scream, I Know What You Did Last Summer era. Like, I feel like this could fit. And I'll even throw another one, Thanksgiving. That's another one I would throw that feels like that. And it's nice, is I feel like we're getting both. We have a nice 80s tone slasher with Terrifier. I feel like the Terrifier movies fill that void of like the 80s slasher craze, right? Whereas I feel like this and Thanksgiving, I'll throw them in the same vein, in the same era. In this, not era, but the same like um in the same boat, is that they're these like late 90s Scream slash I Know What You Did Last Summer era slashers. So it's nice that we're kind of getting both back, you know. Granted, with the 80s one, I do want more than just Terrifier, but you know, it's nice that those voids are getting filled, because this movie was great. Like, this movie literally feels like this could have came out like in 99 or 2000, and I could buy it, you know. And I think too, you didn't get a lot of, there wasn't a lot of cringe modern Gen Z lingo, which was nice too. It actually just was normal dialogue, you know, because that's the other problem with some newer movies I have, is this weird, like, we got to make everything feel like Gen Z dialogue. But yeah, man, this movie was good. Like I said, I have a couple criticisms, Allie, in the beginning, but I guess it works for the story, so it's not even really a criticism. The third act, when she becomes like action woman, was a bit much. But granted, one of the killers is a woman at least, so it's not like she's fighting like two dudes, right? You know. Um, and actually, oh, another character who I really like, Allie's boss. I don't remember her name. Oh, Mike Michaela. No, Crystal. That's the character's name. Michaela Watkins. That's the actress. But she was a fun character throughout the movie, and I'm actually happy she didn't. I don't think she died anyway. No, she survived. I'm happy she didn't, because she was a fun character. I love her accent. I love how bitchy she was. Like, it's the same with dudes. If you write it, there's a level of asshole you could write, but where they could be likable. I think with women too, there's women who can be bitches, but they're still like, it's like a likableness to her. Like Lois Lane is like, for example, when she's written right. Lois Lane has a little bit of a bitch in her. Like, let's be real, she does, but she's still likable. And I think Allie's boss is the same way. Like, you could tell she's a bitch, but she's likable. Like, it's like whenever she speaks, I'm not gonna lie, I was laughing. And I'll get into this movie. Like, this movie was genuinely funny. And that's what's sad. This is what I wanted from this movie. Obviously, I wanted from Love Hurts, outside the slasher stuff, but like the tone, the goofiness, the way it didn't really take itself seriously. Yeah, this movie didn't take itself too seriously. That's what I wanted with Love Hurts, you know. And it's wild that this is the one I actually ended up liking better. I thought I would maybe like, I kind of figured I was gonna like both. I just thought I would like Love Hurts a bit more. No, I didn't really like Love Hurts at all, honestly. Outside the opening two fights, honestly, especially now, days removed from seeing it. No, it's not a good movie. I'm actually shocked that this movie's better. I'm hoping it has a good second week. I do plan on actually seeing it again on Valentine's Day, because I do want to see this on Valentine's Day. So it's good to see that we have another, I guess, addition to the the Valentine slashers movies. You can add this to the list. I definitely recommend this one. If you like Scream, if you just like slashers in general, you'll like this movie. Even just for the killer, like the killer was fucking cool. The only thing is, I wish he did the trick where you saw it in the trailer, his eyes glow. He only does that in like one or two scenes. I kind of wish we got more of it. I think that's the only thing. I'm not saying don't do it a lot, because I think if you did it too much, it would have been too much. But I think I did want it a bit more, because I feel like it was a cool trick, and I would have at least two or three times would have been a good. I think he did twice, but three or four times would have been cool. I don't know if I want a sequel, but I guess there is a way to do a sequel. I mean, if I'm being honest, you don't bring back Allie and you don't bring Allie and Jay back. I think their story is told. You don't pull a Scream where you want the killer to try to get Allie back and you want to get the same. No, I think the way to do a sequel is there's a copycat. You set it a couple years later. The Hard Eyes murders are done. They think the whole thing's done. It's Valentine's Day, but you have new characters. You can have a new lead and have them new leads, because I guess it could be a couple, and then the killings start again. And you have like a copycat. So I'm open to a sequel where you have the same killer. Just it's like have it, because theoretically you could have it be like Scream. I just don't think you need to make as many movies. I really think two movies would be. I think that's where I would go with it. Like kind of like I know what you did last time. Only two films. Grant, I know they're doing a third one now, but that's besides the point. But I'm okay if they wanted to do one more movie and it's a fucking copycat and you bring in new characters. I don't think you need to bring Allie and Jay back. I think their story's told. I fear if you bring them back, you're trying to do a Scream, and even I know what you did last time where you have like one final. You don't need to do that. Like, I think Allie was fine, but she's not a. To me, she's not a final girl for multiple movies. Well, let me fix things a little bit. Um, she's not a lead you bring in for multiple movies. I think she works for one. That's why I'm saying if you do a sequel, it needs to be new characters, and then the story can just be it's a copycat killer. Really, it's that easy. But other than that, yeah, I really like this movie. If I were to give this out of 10, probably an 8. I really like it. It's really fun. It was a fun fucking time, and I was laughing a lot. And yeah, so I'm definitely gonna go see this in the theaters. I think it deserves some money. So plan on seeing it Friday, or at least this weekend. But I'm gonna try to see it Friday because it's Valentine's Day. But other than that, yeah, probably won't be a new movie review until. Well, actually, no, next week, because next Friday is the Monkey, and I do want to check that out. So apparently, that's a Stephen King thing. I've never heard as a Stephen King story. I just know it. The trailer gave me. It looks like Final Destination, but with a monkey. You have this monkey, something happens, and it causes crazy shit to happen to you, and you die. That's what it's looking like. So I'm gonna be checking that out. So I'll definitely be reviewing that. But after that, I don't know when I'm gonna do another new review. Probably until the end of March when Working Man comes out. But yeah, this is good. It. I'm happy both. It's cool that this came out on my birthday. It sucks that Love Hurts also, which did come out on my birthday too, was not good. It was pretty disappointing, but this one delivered. So at least they weren't both bad. Later in today, I'm probably gonna try to watch uh Under Siege 2 like during the day, just so I can get it watched. But I do try to plan on reviewing it tonight, and then tomorrow we'll be doing Valentine. Also tonight, subscribe to Pin Down Podcast. We will be reviewing Dynamite, which will probably be ass again, but not really looking forward to watching Dynamite tonight. But yeah, but we will be watching that. We're doing our recap of that tonight, so look out for that. Other than that, guys, let's get into Hard Eyes. So the movie opens up with this couple planning to get married. It's like this rich dude trying to propose to his girlfriend. I'll admit it was fun. I love this opening part. The guy couldn't get like you have like this really uh really cheesy like well it's a good song, but it's like a really cheesy love song that's playing in the background. He wants to have it perfect, but the guy didn't hit it to get the picture in time, so he has to take it again. And that's when you're introduced to the killer. And the killer stabs the cameraman through the eye with a machete and shoots the boyfriend with a crossbow. Or he does the proposal again. The guy doesn't answer his phone, obviously, because he's dead. Then the phone does answer, but it's Hard Eyes, which I actually love that Hard Eyes speaks a little bit. Granted, I'm happy he doesn't speak when he's actually doing the killing and he's like chasing you. But when he does, it's like a little bit like Stream where he does do like the taunting, like he'll call the other one. Like you, I think his mo is kills you, and then or kills like the boyfriend, and then will call the girlfriend, and then yeah. Do this like breathing thing, which was kind of cool and actually pretty creepy. Um, so Hard Eyes or Heck, I'm actually just gonna start calling him Heck too. I think it's a cool name. So Heck ends up killing her boyfriend, and while she's on the phone with the guy, and the Heck ends up chasing her, um, and she hides in the field. And I love he calls her. Well, not just a taunter, but he also is doing it because he wants to know where she's at. Because now, because I think her phone's on speaker, you can. It's an area where it's obviously just him and her. So you could hear her talking if she's hiding. Then she runs into like a factory, and then hides in this thing. Um, oh, there's like a worker there. She's trying to talk to one of the workers, but the worker ends up getting killed by ends up getting killed, and then Heck locks her in this machine and then kills her by basically smashing her to death. It's like some grinding kind of machine. Okay, it's a winery, so it's probably like a thing that you put grapes in and it like mashes them together. So she ends up getting killed. The kills are pretty brutal in this movie, man. Like they don't hold back. Like they don't, which I like, you know, because yeah, like late '90s slashers are not are they're especially the first Scream's pretty brutal, but like I feel like a little bit after that, a lot of them aren't uber gory because that's not what they're about. They're not gore like crazy like let's say the '80s slashers were. And then this is where we meet Detective Jeanette Shaw and her partner Hobbs. Hobbs, who's played by Devon Sawa, which I'm like, I was like, oh shit, fucking Devon Sawa's in this. He's not in it as much as I probably wanted a bit more Devon Sawa, but he's not the main character. So they end up finding the ring JS as one of the engagement rings. And then that's when they go into the Hard Eyes killer and how many murders he's been doing. And he's been killing couples throughout the film. And then this is where we meet Allie, who's a pitch designer who, for a jewelry company, is like, you know, she just broke up with her boyfriend. Her and her friend, her friend's just is fine. Like she's one of those. She's one of those. You have slashers sometimes where the friend character is just kind of there. They're not necessarily bad or they're annoying. It's just they're just kind of there, and that's what I felt like with her friend character. And then this is where you meet her boss, um, Crystal, and Crystal, who basically wants Allie to work with Jay because Allie basically fears that Jay's gonna take her job, kind of thing. 'Cause he wants Allie to train Jay, basically in the way it makes it seem like, oh, I'm gonna train this guy and then he's just gonna take my job. So they end up going out to dinner. And Jay, initially, they want you to think he comes off like he's like this rich asshole guy that's full of himself. Because he's trying to ask her about questions about a relationship. And she goes through this whole diatribe why the storybook love stuff is back. So it's also like definitely a parody of romance movies too, which I actually like. Like this isn't just like a slasher. Well, I wouldn't really say a slasher parody, but like Scream is, but it does like it's a slasher, but it's also definitely it pokes at romance movies. Um, Allie ends up going off on Jay, and then Jay kind of storms out. Um, and Allie kind of like tries to stop him from leaving and tries to say, "Hey, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say those things to you." And then she sees her ex boyfriend, and then she ends up kissing Jay to kind of make it seem like, "Oh, I'm good too," because her ex is there with a girlfriend, so they end up leaving in a taxi together. Um, so the cab driver ends up getting killed, and that's when the hard eyes killer tries to kill them, or heck, tries to kill them. Um, and and then Allie flees, but Jay ends up arrested because they think he's the killer. So she ends up going to the police station, and Shaw and Hobbs question Jay about the murders because they think his name matches the JS, the initials that was found on the ring. Which I'll just spoil. Obviously, it's Jeanette Shaw because JS. So I'll just spoil that part. But I'll get more into that when we get to the reveal part of the movie. Um, they question Jay. And then that's when Heck attacks the police station, um, kills the clerk, and then he starts going and trying to kill people. Ali and manages to save Jay while the cops go and, obviously try to stop Heck. And um, so Shaw confronts the killer and disappears. And obviously they want to make you think, oh, he killed her. And I think Hobbs ends up getting killed later. But then we get the chase into the drive-in movie theater, which I actually love this part of the movie. He's just like kind of just killing random people, and I just love drive-in sets anyway. So it's just kind of cool to see one. They end up luring him to a planet, and that's where they both end up killing. Oh, before that, one of my favorite kills is I think this is when he kills Hobbs. I'm thinking, or when he kills the correct one of the two. He uses an American flagpole as a weapon. That's the other thing. I love how creative it is with like the weapons he uses too. Like, cause yeah, I think the main weapon is probably gonna be the crossbow, but he doesn't just use it in every scene. That's when a good slasher is like. It's like with Michael Myers. His signature weapon is the kitchen knife, but he doesn't just use that. Same with Jason with the machete. Like he has a machete, but he does use other weapons. So I love that stuff. Like even if they have a signature weapon, I do love that they have them use different things. Um, and yeah, so they end up supposedly killing Heck, and they unmask him, and it's just some random guy. And then Shaw's actually alive; she just has a hurt arm. And then Jay, I think Allie's talking with her friend, and that's when her friend basically just tells her, "You clearly like Jay. Just go to him before he leaves." She tries to go to the airport and find him, but he's not there. That's when she gets a call from Heck and come to the chapel because that's when we get and he plays a sound of Jay saying, "Oh, hey, don't come," and basically tells him if you bring any cops, kind of thing. Yeah. Um, and it turns out that the Heck they killed earlier was actually a fanboy that was just in a costume that they probably manipulated to be like to take the heat. So we get the reveal that it was David, who was the clerk you see earlier in the movie. Um, The only thing with him, my problem, it's not even really with the reveals. I think the reveal part is good because he's not goofy. He doesn't start acting stupid as fuck once he's revealed. My only thing is, I would have liked. It's not even really criticism of him. It's more, I wanted more screen time of him throughout the movie. Because here's the thing, that's what makes Scream work. Is at least the good Scream movies work. Is the killer is in the film throughout the movie, interacting with our lead and, fooling everybody. Whereas I felt like David wasn't in the film enough. Well, and I guess that's it's not a full on criticism though, because he still, whereas you had Shaw, she is throughout the film. So I guess it makes sense to have her be the one that's throughout the film because she's the cop and all that. But yeah, we get the reveal that they're actually together, and she's his wife, and that they're the ones who've been doing the murders the entire time. Because they have a kink for killing together, which I like. I like that the reveal was simple. They didn't do this over elaborate thing like, oh, it's revenge, or like, I'm actually even okay that the killer motive doesn't have anything to do with the actual main character of the movie. Because that would have, even Thanksgiving did that to an extent, with the reveal in that movie, which I don't hate, but I'm happy that this one, these two just kill. They have a thing for killing together, and it's a kink to them. And it just happens that Allie was there, that she just happened to be a victim. She wasn't like they have some vendetta against her or anything. I'm actually happy they didn't go that route, something different. Almost like wrong place, wrong time thing. You know, you just happened to be in the wrong place, wrong time. We saw you as a couple, and we just wanted to try to kill you. Um, they basically try to force a choice that either kill herself or Jay. She ends up shooting Jay, which I'll admit that part was funny. Gave me kind of Speed vibes, where it's like shoot the hostage, like very that kind of thing. And then they end up fighting each other. So Jay ends up killing David, and then Allie ends up killing Shaw. Which at least they had Allie fight Shaw. They didn't have her try to fight the dude. They had Sorry about that. They had her fight um the girl, at least. Granted, Shaw's a cop, so she has cop training, but she pretty much, at least the way she killed her too, wasn't like just with brute force. She kind of pushed her into a statue that had a sharp end to it, and that's how she dies. And then so he proposes to her. You kind of have like a normal ending, and I guess there was a mid-credits scene I missed where she gets a call from thinking it's the killer, but it's actually Monica, and then I think it just hangs up. Which I'm assuming that means I think that's supposed to be a sequel tease. I think that they killed Monica. My thing is though, and how I'm worried, are they gonna try to bring Allie and Jay back? It's gonna be like set a year or two later where the killer wants to get revenge. I hope that's not what it is. If you do a sequel, I'm not against it, but you should have it be Allie and Jay. Let their story be done. You don't need to bring them back. Even like I'd be okay with a cameo. Even then, I don't really think you need it. They're not big enough names to. I don't think they need to be brought back. I think Thanksgiving 2 happens, but the way Thanksgiving ends, I'm okay with them bringing the same characters back because the way it sets that up. And I guess this one sets it up too, but I would rather, honestly, with this one, just have it be. You could have it even be like a crazed fanboy who's really into the Hard Eye, or fangirl even. Or, but you could have it be two killers again, where they're both really into the Hard Eyes killer. Maybe they're crazy true fan people. I don't know, that are really into serial killers. Something like that. And just have it be new characters. But you could have the events of this film still happen, but you don't need Allie and Jay back. Now I fear I'm hoping they just left that open ended. That's kind of what I'm hoping is it's an open ending where there's no real answer. But I don't want a sequel. I mean, I'm okay if this is a one up, but if you're gonna do a sequel, you don't need to bring Jay and Holly back. Let their story be done. New characters, and then the killer is just a copycat, but it's just with different characters. I think that's the direction to go. But overall, this is a great fucking film. Fun. I love how it was a fun take on Valentine's Day films. And I'll say this: Allie Girls as a character. Just by the end, she gives a whole speech saying, actually, you know what? Maybe I do want that storybook thing. It's not as bad as I thought it sounded. A lot of it was just her because she just got done with a breakup, and that part that is human. You go through a breakup, yeah, you're gonna probably be very negative on love at that moment. A lot of us have been there. So I'm okay with that. And her character does eventually grow. Like by the end, she does become, I think throughout the middle of the film too, she becomes much more likable. So, but yeah, man, I really like this. Fun killer. Heck is an interesting killer. The David and Jeanette Shaw are actually really, really good killers too. It was awesome seeing a good reveal scene. Because I'm going to say it. Thanksgiving had a good reveal scene too. But outside of those two movies, we haven't had a good killer reveal scene because both Scream 5 and 6, just the reveal scenes were fucking trash. And, the killer becomes uber retarded all of a sudden. They don't know. They become fucking idiots. It's like all of a sudden they're like the Three Stooges. It's like, what the fuck? Why are they just slipping on themselves? You know? It's weird. Like, how, especially at 6. Ghostface, like, when he's in the costume, is smart. This is actually one of the few Scream films. How, throughout the film, and it makes sense because Ghostface a lot of times is a high school kid or even a college kid who doesn't really know what they're doing. The reveal, obviously in 6, that was a cop. Because this Ghostface was not tripping over himself unless he was knocked down, but he wasn't, tripping over shit. He actually knew what he was doing. It seemed like there was an experience. But the moment he's revealed, he's a fucking moron. And acts like because there's 3 killers, but they all start acting fucking stupid. It's took me out of the movie. You don't need to turn the killers into absolute idiots once they're revealed out of the costume. It's like when they're in costume, you gotta have them be smart because the plot says we need to have them be smart and intelligent. The moment they're out of costume, no, they can start being dumb. I don't like that kind of writing. That's stupid. Because then it's like, it takes me out of it. Because I'm like, now I'm supposed to believe you did all these killings. You did all this planning. You're really smart. But then the moment you're out of the mask, you feel like you gotta act like a fucking retard. So I'm happy that this movie didn't go that route. Um, Overall, interesting take on, it's like an interesting Valentine slasher. This is might be in the upper echelon of Valentine slashers. I think the best one is My Bloody Valentine, the remake. Then I would probably say this one, honestly, after. I really like this. So we'll see how it holds up on a second viewing, because I do plan on, like I said, watching it on Valentine's Day. But I really like this one, man. This one was what I needed. It's unfortunate that Love Hurts didn't have a similar tone. That's what I think made this film work. Even with the gore at times, it didn't take itself too seriously. It let itself just be a fun fucking time, and that's what this was. So, and you had a good new potential slasher villain now. No, I don't know if I'll say icon. We'll see if he gets a second film, but heck, even just that look is pretty unique. So, but overall, man, I really like this movie. 8 out of 10. So far, probably my favorite movie of the year. Obviously, we're only in February, so we'll see what else comes out. But this one's definitely delivered for me. So we'll see by the end of the year if this is the best horror of the year, because there's a chance this will probably be my upper echelon of horror of 2025. I can already tell. But yeah, guys. I definitely recommend this one. If you've not seen it, watch it. Even if you don't watch it in theaters, you'll have a fun time with this. Um, like I mentioned, Under Siege 2 review. I've not seen Under Siege 2. Or if I have, I don't remember it. I only really remember. I definitely remember seeing the first. I don't remember seeing 2. I think only thing I know is that it's on a train. That's the only thing I think I remember is that there's parts of it that are on the train. But I don't remember if I did watch it. I was really young. So if I'm watching it again later, this is gonna probably definitely be almost like watching it again for the first time. But yeah, guys, so that's the plan. Like I mentioned, subscribe to Pin Down Podcast. We got a stream later tonight. We'll be doing our AEW recap. Unfortunately, that show's gonna probably be really shit tonight, which I'm expecting. But I got alcohol, so hopefully that'll help with the pain. Hopefully. But anyways, guys, go see Art Eyes. It's really good. But yeah, guys, I'm ready to wrap it here. Tomorrow, Valentine, and then Friday, I'll be talking about. It will be a discussion video where I'm going to be going off on fucking shippers. Mainly, the main topics are going to be the weirdos who try to ship Buffy and Faith, and then Destiel, Dean, and Cass from Supernatural. So, but I'll be kind of just talking about shippers in general. How I think that shit is, if you want to call it a culture, very fucking cringy, and how shit it is. So, I'll be going into that. Tomorrow is the finale of Cobra Kai, or the final 5 episodes. So, what I'm thinking of doing, I was maybe gonna do this Friday, but I might just do this on the weekend. Is I will review. I normally don't review TV, but now that Cobra Kai is finished, I might give an overview of my thoughts on Cobra Kai as a show. So, we'll probably be doing that on probably Saturday. I'm gonna try to do it Saturday. I should have all the episodes watched by then. So probably Saturday. But if not, Sunday for sure. But Saturday I think I'm gunning for. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna call it here. But alright, guys. Talk to y'all later. Subscribe to Pin Down Podcast. Peace.